From the McCarron Turf Field on the campus of Lunenburg High School, we say a very good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Rivalry Family Media's coverage of high school lacrosse on a Saturday. Great battle set up here in North Central Massachusetts. This one's got all sorts of rivalry implications as Leominster comes on the road with their 5-3 overall record, battling a Lunenburg co-op team, including Fitchburg High School, that is 3-3 overall. These two teams battled early on this year to a 6-5 Leominster victory. The Blue Devils getting a goal. Diving play, as Coach Colin Davis described it, a Bobby Orr-like diving goal with 8 seconds remaining from Mason Broussard lifted Leominster to the 8-5 victory at home. Of course, the last time we were with the Blue Devils, all of about a week ago on a Saturday morning, a 5-0 team at the last time we saw them has now had 3 straight losses. Difficult ones as they're going back through their opponents, dropping 3 straight, first to North Middlesex by a 7-4 score, on the road at Littleton, a score of 11-8, and then at Neshoba, 12-7, the final in that one. So Coach Colin Davis's bunch having a little trouble away from Doyle Field, 3 straight losses in their last 3 road games, looking to turn that around. Meanwhile, Lunenburg has been kind of a little bit back and forth since that loss to Leominster by 6-5. Took another loss a couple days later by a 14-10 score on the road at Hudson. And they've played Oakmont an awful lot in their pod. A 7-6 victory here at home at McCarron Field, then went on the road to Oakmont a couple of days later, lost 8-7 in that one, and they find themselves here with a 3-3 overall record. Here we go with RFM Lacrosse. Todd Robbins alongside Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins, and happy to have you with us here on Facebook Live on a Saturday. Ready for face-off, Bill Thomas? Of course, we knew Leominster's schedule stack, having all those home games up front and then all those road games to end the year, wasn't exactly fortuitous, and thus far it has put Coach Colin Davis's bunch on the wrong side of 3 straight losses.
We knew that their second half of their schedule was going to be a tough one for them, being on the road, but you know, the field's the same size no matter where you play. The problem's been giving up too many goals. You know, the defense has kind of let them down the last 3 games. Scoring's been consistent. They've been scoring an average of less than 10, I think, over the course of the season, but they haven't ramped that up, but they've been giving up double-digit totals in the last 3 losses. That's where the problem lies, is in the defensive play, and they're going to have to tighten that up a little bit today. And
indeed they will, and things will start with possession. Coach Colin Davis talked about the need to maintain possession being so crucial for both teams, needing to obviously come into this one, control the loose balls, win at the face-off X, and away we go with the opening face-off, ultimately run by the Blue Devils, wearing the road royal blue tops, royal blue bottoms, all trimmed in white, white numerals front and back, a variety of white and black helmets all around for the Blue Devil squad. Meanwhile, for the hometown Blue Knights of Lunenburg, they're wearing the home white tops with royal blue across the shoulders. Royal blue, gray, and black helmets scatter the field for them, along with the royal blue numerals front and back, Lunenburg arched across the front of the chest. Leominster with control, going right to left here in quarter number 1, about 30 seconds gone by. Controlling the first possession, straight to the net, snap shot, and a score for Michael Halstead, who takes possession, and Bill Thomas decides, I've seen enough of working the ball early on, I'm taking it right to the cage.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't shoot, you can't score, and I think that maybe that's been some of the problem with the scoring output, is too much passing, something Blue Devils might have talked about and paid off right there.
And, of course, Leominster comes into this one a little banged up. Another point that Coach Colin Davis made. They are without 6 players on their roster coming into today. Cam Vitone, Tucker Mitten, Maverick Lyons, Connor Green, and Marcus Del Greco are all out for the Blue Devils. Marcus and Cam are due back, according to Coach Davis, coming up next week. And certainly, as you begin a playoff run with yet another win at the Face-Off X, away we go. Clock is stuck, but now back rolling here, Kate, as we welcome in the third member of our broadcast team, Kate Robbins. Declan Calais won the face-off there as Leominster now goes from right to left. And when you're without a number of players, you're on a bit of a losing skid. How do you turn things around coming into this kind of a circumstance on a weekend?
Well, this becomes a little bit tricky because, as you said, they were very confident when they were at home, but now they had that 3-game skid while they were away, and obviously they don't see home turf turf again until the playoffs come at the end of the season. So that becomes incredibly unnerving if you're a member of the coaching staff. You have to find a way to get over this road hump. And starting off the game with a 1-0 lead, that will certainly help. Only thing is, right now, the scoreboard says it's 4-1. Oh, now it's 1-0.
A bounce shot wide of the cage. It rolled kind of harmlessly to the back line, and Leominster just barely won the backup, but they'll maintain possession. Half field to our left as they cycle the ball right about what we call in the football end the 30-yard line, but they are inside the restraining area as they work their way back around X. This is Armand. Comes to the near side. IAC uncorks one, and it's torn out of the air. Beautiful save there. 81 Griffin Cayozo in the cage to our left. For the Blue Knights, faced 2 shots. He's got 1 save and gave up 1 goal on the first one he faced. Giveaway there in the midfield. Ball will come back to Leominster on the violation.
Aaron pass right there. Doesn't matter who's closest to it. Unforced error, turns the ball over.
That is correct, Bill Thomas. A couple of minutes gone by, first quarter action. Leominster drew first score. It's 1-0 Blue Devils here on the road at McCarron Turf Field on the campus of Lunenburg High School on this late Saturday afternoon on a warm day, probably the first significantly warm day the teams have really taken on.
That'll show the depth of your bench is going to be key today.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this warm weather, humidity affects the players, especially in the second half. Once again, get your spot on. You got to use your bench smartly.
Yep, quick shifts, I think, is what we're going to see.
Leominster, a snapshot from Taylor is steered away by Cayozo. And now in transition, here come the Blue Knights as they go on offense, legitimately for the first time this afternoon from left to right. The Blue Knights, coached by Mike Fraterelli, a 2005 Leominster High School graduate, played on one of Coach Colin Davis's early teams, then coached with Coach Davis. And of course, Billy and Kate were always talking about how this lacrosse circle here in Massachusetts is real small. Here in the Twin City region or North Central Mass, as a flag flies on that shot from IAC, steered away by Cayozo. Leominster keeps it. That lacrosse community here in North Central Mass is that much smaller in the grand scheme of things.
Well, you're right. It's a tight-knit community. But it's a fledgling community, and I think that's good.
Armand works for Max. There is a flag down on the play. IAC takes the shot. Cayozo steered it away with a foot, but Leominster still on offense. Knocked down and now scooped up by the Blue Knights. Will draw the whistle, and Leominster will go man up. It's a 1-minute call against the Blue Knights. It's sending, it looked like 31. Shea Gonoyer gets called for the flag, and he'll spend the minute over on the sideline. Leominster goes man up. And you heard immediately the offense there. And, of course, translate this to basketball. We found this to be the best way to help our new viewers to the game of lacrosse. Box and one. Real simple, right? Play basically a zone defense, and you go man-to-man on one single man with the ball. With control, this is Halstead, rips a shot, and what a save by Cayozo going low to the turf.
He's been tremendous here in the early going for the Blue Knights.
Indeed he has. He's kept Lunenburg in it here in the early going, as it's been all Leominster control through the first 4 minutes of this one. Taylor slips a pass, low shot, kicked away, rebound, rings the post, third opportunity, swatted out of the air, and this one steered wide behind
with his bare hand.
Oh,
bare hand save right there.
What a flurry of action at the cage, and Griffin Cayozo with a tremendous play.
Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant keeper play.
And now Cayozo actually lost that one out the back of his cross, thankfully by himself, as he tries to clear the zone. And he'll launch this one toward the midfield mark.
Nobody in particular, but just gets it out of harm's way.
I was going to say, just take it, maybe kill a few seconds off of this penalty situation.
Lunenburg just about ready to be even strength again, if they aren't already.
Now still it looks like on the sideline. Bouncing over to the near side, this is Armand. And now it appears they have released Kate. It looks like, there's nobody at the mid-table over there. So Leominster back to even strength along with Lunenburg. Everybody playing around. So Lunenburg was able to swat that man-up opportunity from Leominster and some great scoring chances. And it was all about Cayozo in the cage. But Leominster on offense here at the 6:55 mark and counting here in the first quarter. Armand swings it. Finds Tossi. And Leominster now far off at the backside of the restraining area. The black lines here are the lacrosse lines here on McCarron Turf Field. Armand slips a couple of defenders, snaps a shot on the run. Cayoso goes low and digs it out once again.
Great job pulling the defense out, though, and then just busting up the middle. Great save once again by the keeper.
Now, it's been very clear time of possession, and this one so far has favored Leominster. But the brilliant defensive play of Lunenburg, especially by their keeper, has just absolutely kept them in this game. The amount of frustration that Leominster's attack must be having right now, it has to be significant.
First shot comes from Arsenal wide of the cage, and it's the first time today that senior Devin Smith has seen a ball in his general direction.
Hasn't had to make a save yet, but good
not.
point, Todd.
And now here comes the attack. This is Ganoyer back on the field after being out for that 1-minute man-up opportunity for Leominster. And now a whistle behind the play. Push is signaled against the Blue Knights. Leominster will get it on the restart. And Spilios with the long stick on the far side will start the ball down the right sideline. Some great man-on physical defense from the Blue Knights. Leominster, as they've worked their way down, I've almost thought wrestling-related. A lot of riding time there, Bill Thomas, as they are just cross-checking them all the way into the zone.
Coming out and meeting them high up, but they could get burnt if they get somebody inside. Pulls the defense out, makes it tough to get it up the field, but you know, you get a steal out of it, it's good. You get burnt, could lead to a goal.
Halstead goes to the ground, gave up the ball. The ground ball scooped up by Arsenault, and here he comes in transition. Goes over to the far side, finds Arsenault, swung wide and long, and out of play. The backup belongs to the Blue Knights. Pair of Arsenaults, Hunter wears 88, Shea wears 12. It's another point Coach Colin Davis made, of course, about this small North Central Mass lacrosse community. A lot of these players know each other. They've played some form of youth lacrosse together.
Coach Davis also made sure to mention that although most of these athletes are friends, it's not going to look like it today.
Another violation called against the Blue Knights. They're struggling on the offensive end of the field to get into their half court, if you will, half field offense.
I didn't really see what happened there. It must have been a stick violation.
And taking the ride on the way down the field, it's Tossie, and now a whistle called behind the play and a timeout taken. This is Coach Colin Davis, tries to slow things down. 4:47 to play here in the first quarter. A 1-0 Leominster lead. We mentioned when these two teams played each other early in the year, a 6-5 game, and that was another thing that Coach Colin Davis alluded to. And we've seen it thus far with Cayoso in the cage for Lunenburg. Low scoring. This is not going to be your typical double-digit offense lacrosse game.
Yeah, but what I think Coach for Lunenburg's want to talk about right now is the offensive ineffectiveness in this first quarter. I don't think they've had an official shot on goal, a couple of wide, but really nothing down on the offensive end. They're lucky to only be behind 1-0 at this point.
And the other thing to take note of in these losses, these road losses that Leominster has had in the last week, most of them have been fairly low-scoring affairs. Leominster has not seen double digits all week long. They only had 4 goals against North Middlesex last Saturday. They were only able to put 8 on the board against Littleton and 7 on the board against Neshoba, and they gave up double-digit numbers in their last 2 contests, in their last 2 losses this past week. So they right now are in the midst of a scoring drought, and they're going to need to be able to find a way to get over that scoring drought in a game like today.
But, Kate, win or lose, they've only scored more than 10 goals in one game.
That's true.
17, everything else has been 9 or below, either in a win or a loss. But, you know, you can win with 7 or 8 if you score, you know, if you only give up 5 or 6. But if you're only scoring 5 or 6, you're giving up 10 or 12. You're going to be on the wrong side.
And under these circumstances where you're basically your best defense is staying on offense, low scoring may not hurt you in the long run, but got to imagine the longer Smith stands down there and basically goes all Mighty Ducks 3, I am so bored, standing on the far end of the field with nobody wanting to go down there and play, or at least the Blue Knights not being able to establish anything on offense, the longer that lull may become a problem.
It could for him. You know, you'd hate to see him get stagnant down there and then get kind of caught off guard, a little stiff. Have to keep an eye on him, see if he keeps his movement up.
Well, I think
stays ready. He's got to stay ready.
I think the keeper play by Lunenburg being what it has been and how excellent it has been in the last game and what we've seen early on in this one, I think he's going to know he's not going to be able to take a nap down there, because although the Lunenburg keeper is going to have a lot of shots on goal against him, his play has been phenomenal. And so Leominster's keeper play is going to have to keep maintaining that level.
This is Lions taking the brunt of the attack. Lunenburg employing that Lizzie Borden defense, whack, 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 all the way down the field. That's all you're going to see if they are going to keep Leominster away from the cage. That was Babbo looking to flash into the center, but not able to find. Yes, it is, coming from that right side. Catch and replace on the roll. It's Iacey, front of the cage, bounce shot, saved by Cayoso, and he smothers it in his goal circle.
Another nice look right there. Tried to bounce, no avail.
Tremendous skill.
Cleared out long. This one swept on, scooped up. It's Tossie. One-touch shot with the quick stick, score!
Just like that, turn around with a fast break, tie game.
Arsenal with the quick find over on the far side. It was Jones to put it away. Nice setup there going in transition as Arsenal finds Jones for the score. And we're at 1-1, 3:23 to play here in the first quarter.
And right out of that timeout, I'm sure some of the discussion was, let's get off the perimeter and let's attack the net. Didn't even look back. He took that pass on the wing, just attacked the net, and got what he could, ended up with a goal.
And there you are in transition, and it comes right down to Devin Smith and forcing him to have to react for the first time today.
See if the Devils can attack right here and bounce back. They've been good at scoring goals and answering opponents' goals.
Calais wins the face-off, swept it off the X, and then chased down the loose ball. And he'll find Babbo, and Leominster is back on the half field.
Leominster 3 for 3 on those face-offs, correct?
Indeed they are. We wind down toward the 3-minute mark of the first quarter. This is Taylor trying to pick his spot. Roll dodge to the cage, goes high. Cayoso knocks it away again.
What a save.
Unbelievable.
His field of vision is so immense.
It's almost like he has hockey goalie pads covering the entire opening of the net right there. Just balls bouncing off him.
And he's had a good look at a lot of the shots coming in his general direction. Leominster's going to have to create some traffic in front of the cage. This is Armand. Comes to the near side for Iacey. Down to about 2.5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Iacey cradles and drops it off for Taylor, and Leominster content to play catch along the outside of the restraining area.
Taylor rotating up to the top of the key, so to speak, is usually on the wing. A little different look here on the offense.
Armand getting pushed away there with the long stick. Now Babbo back behind the cage to help out.
That's Babbo's spot right there.
Yes,
he never comes off that corner.
Well, he's so accurate with that left-handed draw.
Left-handed shot, exactly
Yep,
right. That's his home.
Armand finds Taylor, roll dodge
There
front,
he is.
finds Babbo to the
Oh,
cage. Cayoso again. Now the race to the end line. And the backup is won by Cayoso. Great hustle out of the circle.
Oh, wow.
Just tremendous.
An individual flurry of effort from Griffin Cayoso has been the Blue Knight savior and the key to being in a 1-1 ball game. Just under 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. In transition, this is Arsenal. And Arsenal will move his way downfield as the ball now comes to the middle with some room. Shot! Snared out of the air there by Smith. And great on the play there. It looked like Keohan with the save.
Good to get a save under your belt right there.
Now in transition, rolling off this one, it's Iacey. And Iacey will get Leominster back on the offensive end inside of the restraining area. He'll find Babbo at the 1:20 mark here with the first quarter. This is Lyons. We'll drop it off for Halstead. And now Halstead begins on the attack, creates some room, tried the bounce shot. That one hung in the pocket a little long. It went across the back line. Armand there on the back line to win the backup. Leominster's got it on the restart, under a minute to play here in the first quarter. Taylor will drop this one off for Tossie.
One thing I'm seeing, Todd and Kate, is Leominster starting their offense a little farther out today.
Indeed they are. Halstead got some room, goes bounce shot again. Help up front. They tried to sweep it on, did Armand. Leominster the only one there on the back line. Taylor and Babbo there to win the backup. About 41 seconds left here in the first.
You know, bringing these sets out well beyond the 30-yard line, trying to pull the defense out.
And the officials are questioning whether there was a shot on the play. They thought it was a giveaway. Now the officials are going to converse. Let's see what we can hear.
Oops.
We apologize for that language. So the officials will converse, and the ultimate decision is that was a Leominster unforced error. It will be Blue Knight ball on the restart.
Sure looked like a shot to me.
As I mentioned on my call, Bill Thomas, it got stuck in the pocket. So now you have to wonder, Of course, his stick was going forward. I mean, are we talking about, the old Tom Brady there, the tuck rule, essentially, of lacrosse? Potentially, in a lot of ways.
Play on.
Was he really shooting or not? Thought the key part after the curse word was nobody argue, let's just play. I thought that was a pretty good point out on the field as well. Loose ball. Leominster defense creates the turnover. It's scooped up on the long stick by Kittredge. He finds Babbo in transition, then the giveaway at midfield. Coming right back on. Loads up the shot. Smith knocks up the 5-hole, and that's the end of the quarter. Ooh, a flurry of action there. Shea Ganoyer, who's been in some key spots for the Blue Knights, got wide open, long distance in front of the cage. Smith went low, stopped it up, and no rebound opportunity as the horn sounds to end the first quarter. Through one here at McCarron Turf Field on the campus of Lunenburg High School. Leominster 1, Lunenburg 1, and you can see Bill Thomas, Coach Colin Davis would like an explanation, and I have to imagine that's the explanation the official's giving him. He basically tried to stop his shot, or maybe it didn't quite come out right. It hung in his pocket. Now it becomes a giveaway, and now it's an unforced error.
A lot of judgment calls. That one didn't go your way. It's the way the officials saw it. They got together on it. That's probably the best look. Get together, and then, the call's the call.
Ultimately the best you can hope for, Kate. It's been the Griffin Caiozzo show in a 1-1 ball game. He gave up the first goal of the match.
Yes.
But since then has been standing on his head down in the cage.
It's been as impressive a display of goaltending as we have seen in the season thus far. Obviously, we haven't had a ton of experience calling lacrosse on either the boys' side or the girls' side, but his play has been absolutely exceptional here in the early going. You can now see why the last time these two squads met was such a close battle going into the end, because goals come at a premium. Leominster, as you said, Bill Thomas, they haven't been giving up a lot of goals, but they haven't been getting to double digits either. And so you have a situation where if you have a phenomenal keeper, you have a situation where you haven't been scoring in bundles, you've been playing excellent defense yourself. This is going to, right now, we're headed for a 4-4 tie by the end of the game if things continue in this manner. Now, mind you, the number of shots on goal that Leominster has had have been, tremendously it's been to their advantage because they've had so many more shots on goal than Lunenburg, but the execution hasn't been there because of the exceptional keeper play.
I want to build on your point, Kate. The keeper play certainly is the key point, but we go back to the best game prep materials you're going to get from any coach. Coach Colin Davis, with some of the best game prep materials, he said the key to the game: who dominates ground balls. Haven't had a ton of those today. There have been some unforced errors, but possession. And right now, Leominster has owned the possession game in the first quarter. The offense doesn't show it at a 1-1 game through the first 12 minutes, but they've owned the possession, Bill Thomas.
Yeah, they have, but and they own the number of shots on goal. They've owned time of possession and offensive end. But the scoreboard says 1-1 because of tremendous goalkeeping by the Lunenburg Knights keeper. And I think they gave that goal up in the first 30 seconds of the game, so he played clean the last 11 minutes.
11 and a half minutes, more or less, yeah.
A stand-on-your-head quarter right there, and that's the reason the score is 1-1.
He gave it up with 11 minutes and 12 seconds remaining.
So about the first 45
seconds.
seconds.
We're like, game on, Leominster. And the Lunenburg goalie said, not in my house.
Teams will switch ends here for the second quarter. So Leominster will go left to right, Lunenburg right to left. Leominster wearing the road royal blue, Lunenburg wearing the home white trimmed in royal blue. I remind you of that because if you could have, a nightmare vision, like looking like one team, either Lunenburg on Lunenburg or Leominster on Leominster, you'd assume was inter-squad scrimmage under any other circumstance.
It's kind of like watching the Bruins against the Pittsburgh Penguins. You can't figure out who's the black and gold sometimes, but we're cheering for the all-blue guys today if you're on the Leominster side, and the white top guys if you're on the Lunenburg side.
I was going to say, do not adjust your computers in any way, shape, or form. Yes, everybody is wearing a variety of the same combination of blue and white out there on the field. Leominster wins the face-off on a violation against the Blue Knights, so they go in on offense.
That's 4 for 4 for Leominster on face-offs.
Taylor, from behind the cage, works his way out to the left. He'll feed IAC, and now here we go. Leominster will start to play catch. Note Armand's been moving to that point spot, and Taylor has been playing the X spot here for Leominster behind the cage quite a bit here in the latter part of the first quarter, now beginning of the second. Armand went low sidewinder. That got knocked down in traffic. Loose ball, run down by the Blue Knights. This is Hunter Arsenal in transition. The long stick tipped it away. Nice defensive play by J.J. Julian, who got the long stick in the passing lane. Steered it away. It'll be Blue Knight ball on the restart, but a nice defensive play saved a really quality scoring opportunity.
Turnover turned into a 2-on-1. Just a nice defensive play. Stopped a breakaway right there at the end.
This is Jones on the restart from the left sideline. He'll feed Burns, and they'll slow down the action. Will coach Mike Frattarelli's Blue Knights. First time that they really get to settle into their half field, at least for a potential extended period of time. This is Burns. Burns rolls to a left shot. Lost the ball as he tried to pull it away. May have been bothered from behind. It's swept on in front of the cage. Nobody able to establish possession of the ground ball. Looked like Lunenburg might have had it for a moment. It is now still loose. About a half dozen players in there, and a stick violation called, and Leominster will get it in transition.
I think Leominster picked it up right there at the end, but I'll tell you, a lot of action right there with no result.
And J.J. Julian's got it in transition on the long stick down the right sideline. Passing the 10.5-minute mark here in the second quarter, and Julian getting rode hard off the play to the wide side. He'll take the long stick to the back of the cage. He will feed it to Taylor. The short stick will now settle control. Finds a flash. This is Brassard to the cage, rolls right, and once again Cayoso steered it away. And the loose ball picked up by Arsenal in transition, and he's on his horse flying down the right sideline.
Starting to be able to hear some of the frustration coming out of the Leominster coaching staff as well.
Fake to X, shot goes wide front of the cage toward the sideline. There's a race to the backup, and they say the Blue Knights win it. It's a great hustle by Devin Smith out of his cage to try to win. Ryan Jones, the senior, looked like he was going to have it on the restart, but now they decide to steer over here. It's Brady Burns, the junior, will take the ball on the restart. Had so many balls down this end of the field, Bill Thomas, for restarts. They don't have any of those loose balls.
Ran out of sideline balls.
Yeah, they're going to need to reload those for the restarts. It's Burns with the whistle to begin play in under 10 minutes here in the second quarter. Flash, front of the cage, rolls left, comes back right. It's Agnesi, goes low, and beats Smith for the score.
Blue Devils loose in the middle right there. Let's that centerman get that pass. Nice clean look at the goal.
9:38 to play in the second quarter, and it's a 2-1 Blue Knight lead. Josh Agnesi, the freshman, with the score going low on Devin Smith.
Second time the attack mode has resulted in a goal. None of this perimeter passing. Just go right for the offensive move and waste no time getting a shot on goal. Results in a score.
All of a sudden, Bill Thomas, all of that possession time Leominster has had is fairly meaningless as you are now behind at about the halfway mark of the second quarter.
That's that second line on the score sheet, the first one that really doesn't matter.
Indeed. At the center X, scooped up and won on the faceoff once again. Leominster remains perfect. It's Calais. And Calais takes the ball in transition down the right side of the field. He'll drop it off for Taylor, who will walk the ball systematically toward X.
Because of how good Lunenburg's defense has been, particularly, obviously, we've been mentioning Cayoso's play in the cage, you're going to see Leominster start forcing the issue here. They're not going to be able to allow Lunenburg to get any type of significant lead because, number one, Leominster's scoring has been at a premium all week long, and number two, they know they're going up against a juggernaut in the cage.
Halstead has some trouble getting that one out. It's loose in front of the goal circle. Cayoso is sprawling for it, and they say he got it with the bare hand before it crossed the end line.
That was close.
Indeed it was, and of course Halstead would have been the goal scorer for having missed the cage with the way it kind of bounced and hopped. But now Cayoso with it in transition. He'll take it out, and he'll find a connection down the right sideline over the midfield spot.
That one was close.
Yeah, the immediate giveaway now loose, and IAC comes out of the pack with it. Nice pickup of the ground ball there for Ryan Iacey, and he gets on his horse and takes a whack for his efforts as he moves his way down the right sideline. Centering pass for Halstead, having all sorts of problems with the pocket. That one is loose. Race to the end line there, and the Blue Knights win the backup on a great hustle there. Looked like Burns won the race to the far end of the field.
You know, talking about problems with the pocket, what I see is the Blue Devils are trying a lot of bounce shots. I think they just got to start firing at the net and not play with the turf.
I will correct, that was Ware who won on the long stick.
The other thing that's coming up is obviously center mass is not going to be the place to shoot, so you're going to have to get
and nor is
fancy
low,
with it. Yeah.
as Cayoso has worked well at his feet as well. So you're going to have to try to pick your spot top corner here and see if you can get him going left and hit it back to the right or vice versa.
Yeah, you're right about that.
This is Arsenault, who's going to race the ball around X. He'll drop it off there for Jones. And now Jones was looking for a flash in front of the cage, decides to turn around, go back to X and Arsenault as they try to reverse directions. At the 7.5-minute mark of the second quarter, the Blue Knights with a 2-1 lead. Shot wide of the cage from Jones. Backup belongs to the Blue Knights. It's Ganoyer.
No balls over here.
I was going to say, they're still looking, and that one is like bouncing and gone. So they're going to have to find something over here on the near wall here.
Down in the lower parking lot.
I love, Bill Thomas, the blue track. The blue and white track adds something to it.
I agree. Very nice field right here.
But I'm also a big fan of the turf in Boise. I love the blue turf. So there you have it.
No, don't give me the blue turf.
I have an affinity
don't give me
for
the blue turf. It's
Kate
got to be green.
Kate will tell you anytime we go to pick out something at homewares, it's going to be blue or blue-gray.
You got blue rug? You got a blue rug at home?
We do.
We do, as a matter of fact. 7:10 to play here in the second quarter.
And drapes.
That is
and
correct.
A couch.
And anything that accents blue as it moves its way down the sideline. Hey, I gave in for a seafoam green.
Begrudgingly.
Absolutely. As that pass misses its connection, that was Dudek who wasn't able to find the connection, and Babbo helps out around the midfield line.
Billy, you'd never find anybody who hated projects more but had more opinions to give.
It makes a great supervisor. I love it.
Granberg with the long stick finds some room and makes a connection.
Been holding out for a management position.
Down the field, it's Burns. Has it hacked away loose. Julian with the long stick steps in and's got it in transition, flying downfield from left to right and races away. He's got some room, but that long stick didn't exactly sound like something he wanted to take a shot on Cayoso with, so he'll slow things down and wait for the offensive players with the shorties.
Bet he could get a nice whip from it, though.
Indeed he could. Darting left and right, this is Taylor. Trying to find some room. He'll circle things out to the left and find Armand. Down toward the 6-minute mark of the second quarter. This is Broussard. Was the hero of the first meeting between these two teams with the diving goal with 8 seconds remaining.
Broussard's been quiet today. I'm not sure he has a shot on goal yet. He usually attacks off that left wing side with that left-hand shot.
Cayoso got a foot off that shot, steering away Halstead. Down to the 5.5-minute mark here of the second quarter.
We've not seen a goalie be quite a game changer like this. This is just unheard of.
Absolutely incredible in this sport. As Coach Davis had said to us previously, a save percentage somewhere around the 50-50 mark, maybe the 60 mark, puts you in the Hall of Fame in the sport of lacrosse. Right now today, Cayoso has stopped everything except one.
The first one.
Indeed. That's better than 90%. This one stripped loose by Spilios with the long stick, recovered by Dudek. They try to shovel it on. It will find its way forward, and this one makes it to Arsenault. Yes, some familiar names that should sound like, hey, wait a minute, I know a Colin Dudek, and no, he doesn't go to Lunenburg High School. You're right, he goes to Fitchburg. So there's a little bit of that co-opted rivalry here as well, as this shot comes from Dudek. He was wide of the cage left, and Smith won the backup.
He's got to wear blue.
Yeah, he's got to wear blue and white. It's got to be a little hard. I didn't wear red until after college, so I know the feeling. 4:48 to play in the second.
Begrudgingly.
Yeah, that's
the word of the day for Todd.
Sometimes it is. Smith with control, out of his own circle.
Somebody just yell, "You're better than that"?
I think he did. As there was a bouncing ball loose. It looked like Dallaire with the long stick. He had it taken away from him. Shoveled on toward midfield and scooped up by a Blue Knight. And here it comes back from right to left. This is McKinney, excuse me. Tried to drop it off. Yeah, that was loose, Bill Thomas.
Yeah, but
too close.
Blue Devils couldn't pick it up right there.
And the ground ball picked up by the Blue Knights, and now a timeout taken. It is spent by Coach Mike Frattarelli. 4:15 to play here in the second quarter, and the Blue Knights nursing a 2-1 advantage.
Blue Devils having trouble getting into an offensive rhythm right here. Knights with a little more offensive aggressiveness, and it's paying off on the scoreboard here. They have that 2-1 lead halfway, almost 3/4 of the way through the second quarter.
I have to imagine, Bill Thomas, if we had talked to Coach Frattarelli before the game started, if I said to him, you weren't going to score the first goal, you were going to be 0 in the face-off X, you were going to be losing the time of possession, pretty close to losing the ground ball matchup if you don't have the exact number, and you're going to be winning 2-1 at the final third of the second quarter, he'd say, I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, once again, he knows it's all about the scores. Kids are playing good, in the center field area, and but you can't do anything about a hot goalie. Blue Devils have had their opportunities. They've been inside the 5-yard, within 5 yards of the goal in the circle. Tried bouncing, and I think they just got to be a little more heavy on the attack. Just go straight at them. We've seen the turf bite the ball a number of times. Number of shots have bounced over goal. One of them got ruled a pass rather than a shot. So just attack, and go right at him. Just see how quick he is off that first reflex.
Kate, the flip side of that is Coach Colin Davis. Of course, he's trying to figure out how now to rally the troops because you do have the advantage. You scored the first goal. You're 5 for 5 in the face-off X. You've got the majority of the ground balls. You've controlled the time of possession. You're losing 2-1 at almost halftime.
Certainly.
What's the message?
Well, the message is that I think Coach Davis knew going into this, considering how close the matchup was in their previous contest, the Leominster was going to have to play as close to perfection as possible. The mountain here is going to be pretty steep, and so you're in a situation in which if Leominster isn't playing at their absolute pinnacle, then they're susceptible. So right now, the stat sheet, the overall stat sheet, that's not necessarily what we're hearing from the coaching staff. They're talking about scheme. They're yelling at the players about scheme and about placement, and those are the types of things right now that aren't showing up on the stat sheet that are becoming a point of contention and a point of frustration for the Leominster coaching staff. It's that execution.
Sounds like a plan, Bill Thomas. Here we go in transition. I'll grab the camera. How does that sound, Kate? As we have a shot and a score. Smith had that one go rolling by. And this one was, of course, beat on the play. And this one will now bounce loose. Of course, we're working with the roster that was supplied by Athletic Director James Bunnell. We do the level best we can with the information that we're provided. Todd Robbins alongside Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you. Great to have us along on this Saturday. 3:54 to play in the second quarter, a 3-1 lead for the Blue Knights. And Kate, once again,
yes.
Although we kind of lost that in the whole point as we're kind of moving forward here, it has been all Blue Knights, even though they haven't controlled much of anything.
No, you're absolutely right. They've been able to execute, and it took a little while for them to get their feet underneath them. I would say for the first 3 quarters of the first quarter, there was nothing going on offense for Lunenburg, and so that's very interesting. But they've gotten their sea legs under them, and they have been absolutely tremendous, especially in transition, once they got their first goal. Once they were able to even things up, things certainly looked like gravy.
Shot wide of the cage there. Leominster should win the backup. Bill Thomas is back. There he is. As Leominster gets the ball on the restart. No, don't worry about it, Bill Thomas. It's one of those things as we'll tap back in. Leominster on the half field. Broussard's shot goes wide of the cage. It will roll to the back line. We only start preparing about a week in advance for these games, and, it's somewhere around halftime where folks decide to correct the information.
Call, wants correct some information so we can give the proper kids the credit. We're always on board with that.
I was going to say, we certainly appreciate it. We
Two kids decided to change jerseys. Why? Who knows?
I'm sure they didn't alert the athletic director. That would explain why we've got the wrong numbers. 3:10 to play here in the second quarter. This is Tossie for Arsenal. Arsenal will wrap this one around the back of the cage. Driven away, there it was Jones. Jones circles things around for Arsenal. And Arsenal will settle back at X. The flash shot hit the side of the cage there. It's Aiden Moore, Bill Thomas. Glad we got that name straightened out.
Thank you.
This is Gnoyer with possession as he takes it back toward the restraining line for Dudek. And action will slow down here at the 2.5-minute mark of the second quarter, and a 3-1 Lunenburg lead lost somewhere in that flurry of excitement here on press row. This one moves to the middle of the field. It's Burns. Turns a shot and a score! Devin Smith loses sight of that one, and the Blue Knights snap another one to the back of the cage. 4-1 Blue Knight lead, 2:21 to play here in the second quarter.
2 quick goals here, winding up this second quarter here, puts the Knights up by 3 and giving them all the momentum here, heading towards halftime.
And now Coach Colin Davis is going to spend yet another timeout. Wanted to at least have a conversation with the official about something going on the offensive end for the Blue Knights, but right now, everything is coming up Blue Knights. 2:21 to play here in the second quarter, and Billy, that's trouble. Leominster's found themselves in some quicksand here, and they're having trouble digging their legs out.
Well, what I saw there, especially on that last goal, is Lunenburg was playing around the 30-yard line, football yard line here, and Devils came out to challenge them a little bit. They worked their way around, found an opening in the middle, a quick shot. There was nobody there playing defense. So, you kind of sacrifice one for the aggressiveness. You sacrifice some defense in front of your goalie. Lunenburg, you give them all the credit in the world, though. They worked it around, found that open stick in the middle, ended up scoring.
Put things in the other direction, Kate. Here you are. We were talking about Coach Colin Davis's message. Clearly the message at the last stoppage in play didn't work. So now you've got to go back. You're kind of going through your repertoire as a coach. All right, I tried that one. That one didn't work. Okay, tried that one. That one didn't work. Now you're somewhere down around plan C or D. How do you keep reinventing the idea to try to find something that's going to turn away this flurry of action?
I think right now, if you're the Blue Devils, you are looking to your senior leaders, especially in somebody like Nathan Taylor. Nathan Taylor is named. We haven't called out that much today. He's been pretty quiet, and he tends to, essentially average a hat trick of goals every single game.
Had 3 goals the last time these two teams played each other.
So the fact that you have some of your senior leadership being very, very quiet, especially on the attack, I think as a coaching staff you have to lean on them because they are the people that are going to be able to get you out of, or at least work toward getting you out of this particular hole that you've dug for yourself. You don't want them to start tightening up too much. You don't want them trying to do too much, but you need them to step up a little bit here and really bring yourself back into this game.
On the pursuits from left to right, Leominster has it coming out of their own timeout and, quite frankly, desperately need to beat Cayoso here before halftime. I feel like right now, Bill Thomas, if Leominster fails to score before halftime, this could get ugly in the second half.
Had a break through the middle, couldn't connect.
And that bouncing ball was snared away using the large cross there. It was Cayoso. And he will find in transition downfield, he will find Hunter Arsenal. Had to come back, play it on the one bounce, and now a slash called, the violation pointed against Gnoyer. And he had something to say to the official, so a flag came out to go with it.
And now he's
He used one of those magic words, I think.
Yes, he did, and so the officials will head over to the sideline. And Gnoyer has been the only player to serve penalties yet in this ball game. He will serve it again another 1 minute and give Leominster another man-up opportunity. Leominster had scored the initial goal, then failed to capitalize on their man-up in the first 5 minutes of the first quarter.
Definitely got to take advantage of this opportunity here as the first half winds down.
You can't have this many things going in the right direction, Bill Thomas, and then not at least be somewhere in striking distance come halftime. Come to the near side. Here comes Leominster. On the man-up opportunity, Armand, a little trouble making the connection, but recovers that X by himself. He will find Broussard. Broussard finds Iacci. Iacci goes hard bounce. Cayoso steered it clear and then takes a cross-check for his efforts. He battles Taylor, swept it on, open cage in front of him. Broussard flings it toward the open cage. He missed the mark wide. The backup opportunity is won by Cayoso in the scramble.
What a play right there.
A flurry of action, and Cayoso's got at least 9 lives with 1:11 to play here in the second quarter.
One of the things that I'm seeing, Bill Thomas, is there.
And now a flag out is going to even strength out here on the field.
Oh, cross check right there.
Leominster, a 30-second penalty coming up here. It's Brandon Lyons, the sophomore, who is going to head over, run us even at this point in time on the field. Ganoyer's going to have probably about, my estimate, 15-ish seconds left on his penalty as he stands over at the scorer's table. So it'll be even strength out on the field, each team down a man for at least the remainder of this Blue Knight penalty. 1:07 to play here in the second quarter, a 4-1 lead for Lunenburg, and a conversation ensues.
He's still in there.
Yeah, should have about, I would say, 15, 20 seconds. Yeah, they said about 15 seconds left on the 1-minute penalty that was assessed to Ganoyer. Here we go on the restart. Final minute here of the second quarter. Blue Knights with the ball and up by 3. This is Arsenault with the cradle. Final seconds here. And they are released. So now on the man-up opportunity are the Blue Knights. The low sidewind shot wide of Smith's cage, and then he races out to win the backup. Nice shot opportunity there came from Dudek as he went low from the point. As the wind picks up here in the open field here at McCarron Turf Field, campus of Lunenburg High School. Final 35 seconds of the second quarter. Smith goes deep down the center of the field, finds a connection with Halstead. Halstead races his way to the cage. Shot! Cayoso steers another one away. And a loose ball picked up on the long stick there by Granberg. Then knocked away loose. Leominster's got it back. This is Halstead. Halstead with the final 17 seconds here of the first half. Halstead, not in a particular hurry. Final 10 seconds here before halftime. Leominster could desperately use a goal. They try to go to Taylor, cutting to the cage. He was bothered from behind loose. Final 2 seconds before halftime. Ball rolls loose. Horn goes off. Halftime here at McCarron Turf Field. Lunenburg 4, Leominster 1. And Bill Thomas, you said it just a little while ago. You can't help when you play a hot goaltender. And right now, Cayoso has been white hot.
I mean, you know, you can use whatever description you want. Standing on his head, lights out. He's just playing tremendous in goal. He's seeing everything, and I think his defense is. I don't want to say they're getting out of his way, but they're letting him play his position. And Blue Devils aren't getting the screens that they need. Maybe they need to put a little more action in front of the goalie, create a little chaos there. But the shots that get through, goalie's making tremendous plays on and leading to that 4-1 halftime lead.
Halftime, Kate, they're on the wrong end of a 4-1 game as Leominster right now. So the question du jour is, how do you beat a hot goaltender in Cayoso coming out in the second half? And I got to imagine in part, it's going to be about creating traffic in front. He's getting looks, he can see angles, he can make plays, and he can do it with not a lot of space.
Well, the other interesting thing is that if you've taken a look at the decision-making by almost every single Leominster player who has taken a shot on Cayoso, low.
Yes.
Okay, a lot of bounce shots, a lot of low shots, and he is just eating it up. So that I'm assuming that has to have been on the scouting report, and that's got to be something that's been coached up. At this point, with regard to a mid-game adjustment, he's proven if you go low on him, I think his save percentage right now is probably around 96 to 98%. That's how many shots on goal there have been that he has successfully thwarted. And so right now, if you're the Leominster coaching staff, particularly if you're in charge of the offense, you have to be thinking we have to change up the game plan relative to how we are going to attack that goal. Yes, I agree. I think it's about traffic. I think it's about line of sight, making sure that there isn't an open source of vision for him to be able to see where the shot is coming from. I think that that's going to be key. But I also think that they need to change up where exactly they are shooting, because regardless of what the scouting report may have shown at the beginning, I'd like to at least see what he can do up above his waist, because if he's as good above his waist as he has been below it, that's about as impressive an effort as I've ever seen. And so right now you got to change something.
And to add to your point, Kate, when it comes to changing something, I'd love to see Babbo and Taylor get more involved in the offense.
Yes.
The shots are not coming from the wing, especially that left-handed shot that Babbo has. We've seen him basically score sometimes even with the goal mouth. but I'm not seeing those shots coming from the wing. Those kinds of shots lead to rebounds in front, some scrambles. I think they need to work the sides a little better and not just face the goalie straight on.
Agreed.
Maybe give him a little different look, get him out of position.
And I'll add to this point, another way you can create traffic in lacrosse, similar to what you can do in hockey in a lot of ways, is take the action to the goal mouth. You've got to take the action to the front of the cage. So whether that's coming from the wing, forcing them to come from the side, or whether that's coming straight down at them, get in close. And once you get in close, if you can get them leaning one way, you can maybe come back across and get it in the other direction. I think you've got to limit the amount of time and space that Caiozo ultimately has to prepare for the angle of the shot.
Yeah, and don't take that extra pass. Don't make that extra pass. Take that extra shot. Make that extra pass the shot, and then see if something good can come out of that.
Halftime here at McCarron Field. We stand aside here on RFM. Lunenburg 4 and Leominster 1. Back with third quarter action when we continue. This is RFM. And away we go with third quarter action as we begin the second half. 10 seconds gone by here. Great to have you with us here on Rivalry Family Media. Second half underway in what has been an exciting battle between Lunenburg and Leominster that ultimately the Blue Knights find themselves in control of here in the early going. But Leominster comes back and Taylor buries it home.
Buries it right there.
Indeed he does.
Just like the opening minute of the game. Blue Devils go. We'll have to see if they can get another one here as the second half winds down or plays on. But no success after that opening goal in the first half. I'm sure that's something they talked about. Let's just attack the goalie.
And Taylor certainly needed to get on the goal sheet. They couldn't get the job done right before halftime, Bill Thomas beating Caiozo, but in this case, they were finally able to.
Now that Taylor woke up, let's get Babbo involved. A couple of them strong left-handed shots, and now let's make something happen.
Back to the right to left for the Blue Devils here in the third quarter. Lunenburg going left to right. Lunenburg wearing the home white, Leominster wearing the road royal blue. And just 30 seconds gone by here in the second quarter, and Leominster's cut the lead in half. They continue some of the dominance at the X. The ground ball cake continues.
Taylor with that high stick there snags that ball out of the air.
And the action continues, working its way down. This is Broussard. Broussard has it knocked away. Nice play there. It was Tapley, the senior, with the long stick, got right in the grill and knocked the ball away. And he will now pick it out, take it around cage after dropping it off to Cayozo, who's going to steer things right up the middle of the field. Find a connection with Ware. Ware comes for Arsenal. 1 minute gone by here in the second quarter. Blue Knights in control. Arsenal decides to steer. He faked going one way, then comes back the other for Jones. Jones trying to center. Loose ball. And there is a violation called against the Blue Knights. Leominster will have it in transition, Kate.
You can hear down on the field, even through our crowd, Mike, you can hear some of the players talking about how we need to communicate more. We're just scrambling. So very interesting. One of the teams down there pushing probably a little bit too hard, and that's when your fundamentals and your scheme can go awry.
Halstead found IAC, and he got the better. The irresistible force meeting the immovable object as he'll come now to the near side. Swinging around for Taylor. Down to 10:15 to play here in the third. Taylor right to the cage, goes low and scores.
You think Taylor was part of the conversation at halftime? I would guarantee it.
And Leominster back within one. It's Lunenburg 4 and Leominster 3, 10:14 to play in the second quarter. And, of course, as we talked about, take the action to the cage.
And what does Taylor do? He breaks in from the wing, doesn't give him that frontal look, and then, surprises him with a quick shot.
And now when you're in tight quarters, the keeper's got to do a little guessing. All of a sudden, that cage feels very, very big when you're in very, very tight, as you're trying to desperately find an appendage. And Cayozo's gotten the better of it throughout the day. Now he's in a one-goal game.
And you're right. It becomes a guessing game at that point, Todd. It's not a reaction game. It's more of a guessing game.
And Leominster wins yet another at the face-off X. Calais continues on the day.
Just got stabbed.
No, you didn't.
Stabbed with a pencil from my husband and everything.
It's one of your pens on top of it. This is Broussard, who has his pocket picked, scooped up in front. This time it was Agnes, and he will drop it off for Cayozo, who starts things out in transition. And down the field come the Blue Knights. They'll make some substitutions behind the play as Arsenal will drop things off for Gagne.
I've been a little bit surprised how the cadence of Lunenburg's attack has changed. Ooh.
Oh, Gagne rode off the play with an elbow, but he's called for leading with the elbow, and the ball will go back to Leominster.
Tough call right there.
Ooh, indeed it was, as he took the worst of it. And now IAC picks up the ball, gets the whistle for the restart, and he comes flying downfield. He'll go to Armand left, and Leominster slows the action down. 9 minutes to play here in the second. Now here's Halstead, goes point blank, and Halstead goes low and beats Cayozo.
Once again, breaking in the middle, keep people moving, keep that goalie moving, keep them guessing.
Score leveled at 4 aside, 9:10 to play here in the second quarter. That's how fast the flurry of action can happen in lacrosse. Leominster started the ball game off winning 1-0. That goal stood up for a while as Cayozo was phenomenal in the cage. Leominster couldn't add to their total. Meanwhile, the Blue Knights start on a flurry, go up 4-1 at halftime, and Leominster starts out with 3 unanswered goals to begin this second half. Just about 3 minutes gone by in said second half, and Leominster on about a goal a minute average.
Well, go ahead, Bill Thomas.
Okay, I was just going to say, kind of surprised Lunenburg coach didn't call a timeout there, settle his kids down.
Well, and it's amazing just how much momentum plays into this sport. You get that wave and you ride it. Leominster couldn't even find the ocean in the second quarter. Lunenburg was just driving the ship at will. And right now, Leominster is definitely feeling it. And again, getting those senior leaders involved and being able to turn the tide on the Blue Devil behalf.
Leominster with the unforced error, and the ball will go back to the Blue Knights on the restart. As you can hear on our microphone down close to the
Feels good,
field,
though.
that the wind has picked up significantly here.
Feels good, though.
Indeed it does.
I know I was talking about senior leadership. I am aware that Halstead is just a sophomore, but to have somebody like Nathan Taylor get 2 goals in the early going in the second half, that's only going to, that's only going to build your confidence and the confidence of everybody up and down the lineup.
Jones rolls around the cage to the left, goes around the world, tries a little stop-start, see if he can get rid of Julian defensively with the long stick.
Nice job by Julian to disrupt him.
He rode right into a pick there, and the shot went wide of the cage from Jones. The backup was won by the Blue Knights on the back line. It was Arsenault there. Clock stuck at 8:22 left here in the second quarter and is still significantly stuck.
There it is.
And now it has begun. Teams tied at 4 here in the second quarter.
Clockwork's not easy.
Indeed it is not. I mean, you got to get the sands going through the hourglass. It's got to detect it. There's all those things that have to happen.
You are sarcasm galore today.
Having a little fun out here on a Saturday, and what a great day it is. A little roll
Nice
dodge,
move.
trying to move to the front of the cage. This is Hunter Arsenault. He got hooked from
Did you
behind.
see that
His shot
shot?
went over the cage,
Did you-
and the backup won by the Blue Knights. Go ahead, Kate.
Wrapped around his neck.
Over the shoulder, behind him.
Beautiful.
A little high,
Absolutely
but yeah.
beautiful.
Saw that a couple of times in some of the NCAA tournament action we've been watching, as of course the NCAAs are on their road to Memorial Day, as of course this regular season started a little later. We'll continue on just to about the Memorial Day time period here in high school before the playoff action begins in early June.
Official sending the Leominster's Julian back.
And a explanation to Coach Mike Fratarelli.
He's not having it.
No, I'm trying to see what we can hear.
That official's fairly quiet.
Indeed. Julian gets the whistle on the restart, and here we go. He goes to Smith. They play catch. Arsenault is ping-ponging back and forth. Yes. And that wind is kind of going in the direction the Blue Devils are moving, but of course they're going parallel that across the field, perpendicular into that wind motion. And now downfield, this is Tossi. And Tossi steps back off the play as you hear the Blue Knights picking up the excitement on their sideline, trying to make Leominster, of course, feel it as they are playing on their bench's end. Armand plays catch with Iasi. Iasi thought about pushing the issue and decides instead to go to Broussard, go to the right. Here's Babo from that spot right of the cage. Goes for Armand. He's battling a long stick. Stick lost on the play. And excuse me, I'll take that comes Tapley. And Tapley will step out with the long stick and the ball. And then the giveaway in front of the cage. Cayozo frustrated. Loose ball swept along the middle of the field at the midline. It's Iasi. Iasi on his horse down the right side of the field. Bounce shot well short. Babo leads the backup as the ball crosses the end line. So he rumbled to win that.
We have noticed the game plan relative to the scouting report about going low against Cayozo. That has not changed. And so you're seeing there with Iasi, the attempt to go low on that bounce shot when he had that unobstructed view at the Lunenburg keeper, but bounces significantly.
Taylor with the unforced error trying to go backwards, and instead it's going to turn into a great breakaway opportunity potentially for the Blue Knights, and they will win that loose ball. It's Aiden Moore with the scoop. Moore will feed Burns. Burns dances back toward the middle of the field, goes right, shot, scooped up by Smith in the goal circle.
Smith's going to need to play his best lacrosse in that cage as we round things out in the third.
Flag is out on the field. Iasi got slashed along the knee. So this is a man-up opportunity coming for Leominster. Now on the long whistle, 5.5 to play here in the third. Leominster can maintain possession. They'll get the man up when it's all over. Halstead to the cage. Shot is wide. The backup won by the Blue Devils, and now will come the enforcements.
31.
So 1 minute.
It's Gagne again. gets called this time for the slash. 1 minute here. We found out during halftime, had a nice conversation with Gagnor's father. He is a Fitchburg transplant, and he is a freshman, Bill Thomas, so he is certainly not afraid to bring the action physically out on the field. And, of course, every team's going to need one of those.
He's learning the game. He's just got to pick up a little bit of finesse, keep those flags in the pocket, but definitely got a nice future ahead of him on the lacrosse turf.
Halstead on the man up. Cayozo with the save, sprawls out to cover it with the cross. Down to 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter.
And if you're Leominster, you need to capitalize on this man-up opportunity. Well, obviously, Lunenburg able to get back on the attack, even man down, but...
Centering pass, bouncing ball wide of the cage, and the ball will go back to Leominster. That was not ruled a shot. It was ruled a pass correctly in front of the cage.
Yeah, that was clearly a pass trying to catch a breaker there through the middle.
And so Spilios races down for Leominster with the long stick. He'll start in the farthest left corner of the field on this restart.
Probably about 30 seconds or so left on the man-up opportunity, and Leominster needing to capitalize as they go back on the attack right now. They want to be up a goal, and if Lunenburg is going to give them the opportunity to have man-up possession, they have to make sure that they efficiently and effectively utilize that time.
IAC plays catch with Daniels.
And we know Lunenburg right now playing a box and one.
Indeed. 4.5 to play here in the third. Taylor, roll dodge. No angle. He tries to drop it off to Armand, and Armand lost the ball, and it's an unforced error back to the Blue Knights. This should kill the man-up opportunity. It appears it is clear. And so Leominster and Lunenburg back to even strength, and now the restart.
Tough turnover right there.
Very tough turnover.
Tapley goes back for Cayozo. And now a bouncing ball at midfield is picked by Broussard. And Broussard will press the issue. With some room, Broussard to the cage. Shot knocked down by Cayozo. Rebound shot from Taylor is wide of the cage. Leominster wins the backup. They'll still be on offense. Two good scoring opportunities. Cayozo knocked one away. Taylor went long on the rebound.
Unbelievable stop once again by Cayozo. In close, but the rebound wide open net couldn't convert.
He has 9 lives in that cage. Taylor had an open look. Taylor had the rebound, and still somehow Cayozo able to come up with it. Unbelievable.
This is the same player that had a barehanded save in the first half. Iazi loads Cayozo another save.
Unbelievable.
Somebody get him a pair of sweatpants, because I got to imagine below the waist he's got a ton of bruises right now on those legs. My
all
goodness.
over, legs, arms, hands. He's like an octopus.
Those are war wounds.
I was going to say.
And I'm sure that he shows them off.
Chicks dig the black and blues. 3:25 to play here in the third quarter.
Pass.
4-4 our score. Halstead loads up Broussard wide of the cage, but nice job picking up the loose ball. Armand finds Babbo, and he rattles the inside of the cage.
And it's about time Babbo got above the goal line. That might be his first shot on goal. He's been playing behind the goal all day. Gets out in front, gets a nice look.
3:14 to play in the third quarter, and Leominster reclaims their lead. 5-4. The last time they led was at 1-0 in the first quarter of action.
And they lost that lead with 3:23 remaining in the first quarter. From that point on, Lunenburg has either been tied or in the lead in this one. Leominster's first lead since 3:23 remaining in the first quarter.
And you know, Taylor and Babbo had to been a lot of the conversation at halftime.
Yep. Those were the two names we mentioned.
Offensive production, and they've shown up here in the third quarter.
Those are the two names that we mentioned that they were uncharacteristically silent.
They were
Yes,
quiet
indeed.
in the first half.
And Leominster wins another. Declan Calais wins another face-off at the X. And
Babbo feeling it now.
Indeed.
He wants it now.
I was going to say.
They said, get out of here. Let's go.
Yep.
Take a seat.
Spilios will dish it off, subbed out for Daniels in the short stick. Lost it on his own entering the restraining area. He'll drop this one off for Tossi. Tossi will take it slowly down the right side. 2:45 to play here in the third quarter. 5-4 advantage for the Blue Devils. And now here comes what looks like it was 21 Calais. Calais will find Armand. Armand races to the front of the cage. Far too much traffic there from the defense. He was rode off.
He's not quite big enough to make that power move and lean his shoulder into that defense.
Finding some room. The low shot from Tossi. Swept up by Cayozo. Long bounce. And Leominster races and wins to the left corner. Now let's talk about if the shoe kind of develops onto the other foot. If you're Coach Mike Frattarelli, you were benefiting from all the numbers not going in your way in the second quarter. Now you are behind a goal. Things haven't gone well for you here in the third. How are you going to turn the action?
Got to turn up the heat on defense, I think.
And it's not because of your keeper. He has been absolutely stellar.
Halstead races some room, falling down. The shot went wide left. Leominster the only ones along the back line. They'll win the restart.
Acrobatic goalie play right there.
And it's Taylor with the ball with Armand. Final 2 minutes here of the third quarter.
And even if he's not making a save, I think he's in the Blue Devil shooters' heads a little bit. They're trying to be a little too fine.
And right now, just trying to slow the action down, peel some time off of this one. Final 1:45 here of the third. Great to have you along with us here on Rivalry Family Media on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Nice breeze here at McCarron Turf Field on the campus of Lunenburg High School. Facebook.com/Media Rivalry for the live premieres. Games available same day delay on YouTube. YouTube.com, search Rivalry Family Media. Like, follow, and subscribe today. Brassard takes it to the cage, rattles the post, and this one a long rebound back toward midfield and rolls into the Leominster bench.
Did you see that
Leominster
give
in
and go?
possession on the restart.
Brassard was subbed in on the break, on the go, got the give and go, and just attacked the net. That looked like a set play right there.
Indeed, it very well may have been. He certainly had a thought of where he was going to go.
He came in with a head of steam. When he got that ball, he was headed straight for the goal.
Final 68 seconds here of the third quarter. Daniels drops it off for Brassard. Under a minute to play now here in the third. Going to X. This is Armand. Feeds Taylor. Taylor goes around the world, finds its way to IAC. 45 seconds left here in the third quarter. With control, this is Tossi, then Daniels, now right back to Tossi. Final 30 seconds here of the third quarter. Back and forth, they continue to play catch.
They're looking for the last shot of the quarter.
Daniels will wrap it for Armand. 25 seconds left here in the third. Getting rode off the play hard with the long stick, that's Armand. He'll come to the near side for IAC. Final 14 seconds here of the third. Leominster may be content with going for the last shot here. Brassard decides to take the attack. Knocked away by Cayoso. Long rebound. Scooped up Daniels. Wings it back toward the cage. Cayoso steers that one wide. And the horn comes with triple zeros on the board. 3 quarters in the books here from McCarron Turf Field. Leominster 5 and Lunenburg 4. Oh, my.
Cayoso laying on his back and gets the stick up to make a save.
If it is generally on this campus, Cayoso is going to knock it away.
Well, in this matchup, as advertised, we had heard about this game. Obviously, not able to get to sites for a 4 p.m. weekday start because of our work schedules. You know, Billy's work schedule is very tight, very tight work schedule for Bill Thomas. But so we'd heard about this when we did get on site later in that same week that these two teams initially played, and we heard about how tremendous, an effort on both sides the game was, and just how it ended for the Blue Devils. And so we knew when we had the opportunity to come here on a Saturday and give this one another look, we knew we had to take that opportunity.
That first meeting, yes, just as low scoring as this one. 6-5 was the Leominster win. Final 8 seconds, a Mason Brassard falling down score. Coach Colin Davis described it as Bobby Orr-esque, is what got Leominster that victory in the first meeting. So a combined 12 goals between the two teams. Here we are, a combined 9 through 3 quarters, entering the fourth quarter here. Certainly right on script for what we expected in this matchup between these two schools that know each other so very well. And it is not cliche to say just how small this environment is, as we've been having conversations up here with the fans, mostly parents that have been around all year long, and for a lot of these student athletes, all year long and all career long, going back to youth lacrosse. They all talked about how all of these players all came through the Leominster youth lacrosse system.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting, the little Fitchburg added touch here.
It just adds a little flavor, doesn't it?
Adds a little flavor to it, but yeah, I mean, it's nice to, and I don't know if I ever want to go back into a press box. We have more fun being around the parents and getting information and just seeing their reaction to what's going on, to us, to the game. Tremendous environment. But this lacrosse season, it's just been fun to cover. It's a new sport, but I hope it becomes a regular addition to our rotation.
Indeed it does. It would have been, but for a few years ago, then COVID came along last year when we had put together a schedule and kind of swatted that off. So certainly looking forward to that. I was going to say I had something to do with that. It was unplanned as a whistle and a violation call this time against the Blue Devils on the faceoff. That is one of the few, if only, faceoff losses I can remember today for Leominster.
I believe it's only the second.
A low rolling pass there, dropped off. Nice play by Agnes as he was heading off in transition. And now right back into the action he comes. 20 seconds gone by here in the final quarter of regulation. Leominster with the 5-4 lead and the Blue Knights with the ball going right to left here in the fourth quarter. Leominster going left to right. If you're just joining us on this Saturday afternoon, maybe just getting home, finding this one on Facebook, yep, don't adjust your phone in any way, shape, or form. Lunenburg and Leominster, Blue Devils, Blue Knights, Royal Blue and White versus Royal Blue and White. Lunenburg is wearing the home whites, Leominster wearing the Royal Blues, tops and bottoms on the road. Blue Knights with possession here. Half field to our left. 11 minutes left here in the fourth quarter. This is Arsenal being steered away with the long stick defensively. That's Gray Dallaire out on the field for the first time this afternoon.
Fresh legs.
And I think you're going to see that here in the fourth quarter. They're going to need to have short shifts so that they can keep their legs and their wits about them. But now it's about who makes the next mistake.
And Arsenal just slowly takes things up toward the restraining line, and now we'll head down on the attack.
I don't think we've seen Lunenburg be this deliberate all game.
Very limited
Really
situations, to say the least.
Surgical right now. They did it a few times in the first half, but not many.
And most of their goals have come off transition. This is Agnes. Getting rode hard off the play by Dallaire. He barrel rolls off. Lost possession. Leominster gets it back. Dallaire creates the turnover.
Great stick work right there. First time on the field and creates a turnover. Nice job right there by Dallaire.
I know an English teacher that's very close by.
Indeed, and you're probably right, but
Yeah,
it doesn't sound necessarily as good.
No, it's like
This one knocked down through the field. Thank you. She was silently correcting my grammar. The flag is out on the field. We'll see which way this one goes.
30.
And so 27 call for the hold is Ryan Kitteridge with the long stick there.
You say 2 minutes?
30 seconds.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. And Coach Frattarelli is going to go on the man-up advantage here, and he wants to talk things over. He'll spend the timeout. 9:57 left here in the fourth quarter. Down by 1, the Blue Knights now on the man advantage. And Kate, when the numbers favor you, you've got possession, you're on your half of the field. Most of the goals have been scored on this half of the field. We picked the right end. We had a 50-50 shot as we were setting things up. We picked the right end of the field, to say the least. And thus far, the action, this is the time to be on the man-up advantage.
Well, first of all, yes, and I think that the Lunenburg coaching staff knows, obviously, because goals have been at such a premium, because these two teams know each other so well, because it was a low-scoring affair the last time, and it came down to a last-second goal. I think the coaching staff knows they absolutely need to convert here in this next 30 seconds of man up, because if they're not able to do that, then they continue to be in that 1-goal deficit. And if you want to get yourself back in this game, in order to win it, not only do you have to get 1 goal, you got to get at least 2 if you want to win in regulation. And so it becomes a point that you have to execute, and you have to execute with precision. And it's not as if it's a 1 or a 2-minute man-up opportunity. It's only 30 seconds, so they have to retain possession. They have to score here in order to really bring this game back in
30-second man advantage, talking maybe the opportunity for 2 shots.
Maybe.
If you take it right off the whistle to the cage, you might rip 1. If you can win the backup, you get a second opportunity at it. Maybe then if you work quickly, you could get a third. But the chances are it's going to be limited opportunities, but you've got the advantage here, and it's going to force Leominster to have to play deep back into their own cage defensively. We'll see what happens here. What does Coach Fratarelli design? He knows Coach Colin Davis well. Played for him. Coached with him. What's he going to design against what he knows will be Colin Davis's approach? Under 10 minutes to play here in the 4th quarter. Man-up opportunity for the Blue Knights. The roll off the play. Gagnor. Loose ball. Poked loose. Picked up by IAC. And Coach Fratarelli, frustrated, spikes the glasses over on the far side. And IAC with the ball. This will burn the man advantage for the most part.
He is fired.
And Taylor will take it all the way to the far end of the field. Time just has to expire here on this 30-second man advantage.
And that's how much that man-up opportunity meant to the Lunenburg Knights to be able to get back into this ball game.
And Leominster is back to even strength. 9:15 left here in the 4th quarter with a 5-4 lead. Racing toward the cage. This is Tossi with the right-hand shot. Deflected off of a defender in front and beat Cayozo.
I don't think that was on goal until it deflected
It
off that defender. Looks like it was going to be wide on the near side. Got past Kaisi on the high side over his shoulder.
Dylan Grandberg was the second defender. He ducked his head as the shot came. The deflection scraped his helmet, turned the angle behind Cayozo, and gives Leominster 1 more goal to pad that lead. 9:08 to play here in the 4th quarter. 6-4 Leominster's advantage.
That shot, when it was made, was about a foot to the right.
At least the turn of direction was dramatic.
If you can't get him with direct shots, look for some deflections.
Certainly wouldn't have been what we'll call plan A, but it was effective to say the least. Back to the face-off X we go, and Leominster with a little pad, but there's a lot of game in front. 9:08 is an eternity in lacrosse. Blue Knights trying to win this one, trying to scoop the ground ball. Swept on, they will win the advantage. It's Agnes picking up the ground ball, then a whistle away.
White ball.
And it is, yes, it will be Blue Knight ball. Leominster commits the violation. Looked like a push was the signal.
Everybody's pushing in those scrums.
I was going to say, what?
How do you pick somebody
It's
out
an
of
awfully
that?
physical game. Officials converse over at the sideline. Now they're talking to one another. Officials stand at what in football game we'd call the 45-yard line. It's just off of the center circle on a lacrosse field. Conversations ensue. No change in the advantage. Looks like they're trying to decide on the placement of the player on the restart. And ultimately, Gagnor will have the restart closer to that 40-yard line. 8:56 showing here at McCarron Turf Field. The whistle for the restart, and away we go. Here's Gagnor. He dances in and out of that restraining area. Now walking back toward the line, it's Ryan Jones. Jones gets the full lay of the land. The catch and replace. Gagnor had to go back for it. Tries to roll off of a screen. It creates some space. 8.5 to play here in the 4th. Racing to the far side with IAC following. It's Gagnor. Looks for a center in front. Too much traffic there, so he just steadily takes it around. Now reverses direction, going back for Moore. Moore comes short side. Tried to go high on the shot. It was steered away from Smith. Loose ball bounces all the way back to Jones at the top of the restraining area. Jones trying to pick it up between his feet. He will successfully do it. And he will feed over to the far side and find Arsenault. Arsenault will dance it back outside the restraining area. Under 8 to play here in the 4th. This is Moore. Tried to work a little give and go with Arsenault. He had to go back and pick it up. And now the action slows. As Arsenault tries to find his spot. He'll drop the ball off for Dudek. Dudek centers. Finds this time Gagnor. Shot wide of the cage. Race to the back line. Arsenault had a few step advantage. He'll win the backup and the restart for the Blue Knights. Arsenault with a real loose cradle. He had to pick that one up on the bounce. Takes it up the right side of the field, reverses directions, bouncing ball back to Dudek.
Lunenburg lucky to maintain possession right there, almost an unforced error.
Yeah, you're correct there, Bill Thomas.
And they are trying to figure out this Leominster defense. Leominster's defense has locked this down for about a minute and a half, almost 2 minutes.
Gagner races.
They are not giving a single clean look or avenue.
This is Moore with a sidewinder, rips the back of the cage.
A little skip shot right there. Finds its way home.
6:58 to play in the fourth quarter, and it's a 1-goal game once again.
First goal for Lunenburg since 2 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in the second quarter.
Yikes.
It's a long time. Not to score an entire quarter.
Yep.
Very unusual.
In this
Lacrosse.
game? Yes.
But
they're winning 4-1 at halftime.
Let's give Leominster's defense, they tightened up, found a way to score some of their own goals, but Lunenburg fighting back.
And back to the face-off X we go. We'll return to those 2 points Coach Colin Davis made in his comments pregame. Ground balls, possession. Those have been the 2 things we've looked at all day long.
Pushing it back right there.
Yeah, and that will put the advantage back to Leominster as the Blue Knights were called for the push. Iaci's got it on the restart. He will race to the middle of the field and then drop it off, finds the nearest connection for Tossi. Tossi out of the reach of Taylor, and it's an unforced error. Back to the Blue Knights, Leominster with the giveaway.
Trying to set up that back circle. Just let it get away from him.
Bouncing ball finds its way to Cayozo on the back of the cage. He connects for Gagner. Gagner takes a slash from Armand. And now to the middle of the field. The connection there was Ware. Ware drops it off. Right sideline, that was Hunter Arsenault. Lost the ball, had to go back and pick it up with the short stick. Bouncing ball right now for the Blue Knights. Nothing feels clean. Everything feels a little chunky. We'll call it the buffering situation right now, Bill Thomas.
Trying to set up here, a little sloppy, but settling into a rotation. They scored off the last offensive set, so they're not in any hurry right now.
Once again, a little trouble with the connection as it makes its way over to Moore. Moore races to the right side of the cage, followed closely there by Kittredge. And now they reverse direction. This is Shea Arsenault. Arsenault looks top of the key, finds Jones, rips a shot, knocked down in traffic. Loose ball bounces long back to midfield. Great play by J.J. Julian. Picks it up with the long stick, spins it over midfield.
Makes the block and the recovery.
That's right, Bill Thomas.
Tossi, the shot low. Cayozo protects the 5-hole.
Nice offensive bid right there off of that big defensive play.
That's your difference maker right there.
Indeed it has been. Loose ball bounces its way all the way down to Jones. Jones was on the doorstep, could have turned around and taken his shot unbothered on Smith.
That's one of those things, though. You're wondering where the defender is and how much contact you're going to have to take as soon as you pick up that ball.
As we pass under the 5-minute mark of the fourth quarter. Giveaway hits Broussard. Broussard, a little hip check. And they give it to the Blue Knights. So the backup won there by Lunenburg. This is Arsenault. Takes it up left sideline, and he will dance his way to create some room along the edge of the restraining area. Dallaire all over him with the long stick. Arsenault has to reverse directions. Gagner will take it behind the cage. Now rolls. Takes it all the way back to the point, and will drop it off this time for Jones. 4:25 to play in the fourth. Shot from Jones, wide of cage, rips the net that protects the back line, and the backup won by Shea Arsenault.
That was from long distance.
Indeed it was. And Arsenault's got possession on the restart, and the patience continues for the Blue Knights.
Yeah, Lunenburg content to be fairly stationary at the moment.
Round it goes. It finds its way to Hunter Arsenault. Hunter Arsenault uses the body, tries to protect the ball away. It was knocked away loose there. That was Julian again that caused the strip with the long stick. Halstead picks up the ball and races it to the Leominster end of the field. Under 4 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Leominster the 6-5 advantage, and Coach Colin Davis will spend the timeout to stop the clock.
One of the things I think that we should review, especially considering we're fairly new to the sport, with regard to the boys' side of the sport, what is the impetus for Leominster if they're on the attack here with 3:46? What stops them from holding possession for the entire 3 minutes and 46 seconds? Do they need to advance the ball?
As long as they're inside the restraining area, they can dance that thing as long as they like on that end of the field. There's no shot clock per se. They just have to be inside of that restraining square.
For those that don't know, in our last lacrosse matchup on the
girls'
girls'
game
side,
against Marlboro, that's
we
correct.
saw Leominster kill over 10 minutes of game clock in the fourth quarter with a 1-goal lead in order to retain that lead and win the match.
And that's one of the unique differences between boys and girls lacrosse.
Now, and we should explain what lines we're playing here. If you're looking out there, you see yellow lines, blue lines, white lines,
red
fuchsia,
lines,
just
black lines.
call it a color.
Inside the red box,
the red.
starting from the 30 down and in
Yes.
towards the inside, that's where you got to maintain your movement.
That's correct.
You
The
can't
boys'
just
lines
play
are
it
red,
back.
girls' lines are black.
And
here.
but so that so that's where the defense needs to attack within that box, especially if you're trying to create a turnover. But that just opens you up in the middle. We'll have to see how Lunenburg plays these last 3 minutes and 46 seconds. I think
we'll see Lunenburg's defense be very
They
aggressive.
got to come out. They got to chase the ball.
They need to
and
get
we'll have to see
possession
if that
back.
opens up the field. I'd love to see the Leominster go back to Babo or Taylor on the wings, especially Taylor. He's got such strength over here on the near side. I think that's the smart move.
I think at least one more goal is going to be needed on the Leominster side to, of course, secure this one. One goal in lacrosse may as well be a tie game. Things can turn. As we talked about, the last meeting between these two teams was a 6-5 Leominster win in the final 8 seconds of that game.
Play to the horn. And we've seen a game where
a goal was
you can
scored
score
after the horn.
Which
As long as the shot is away.
It's not like hockey where it has to be across the line before the horn.
Much more like basketball.
As long as the play, much like basketball, the shot's been released. Exactly right.
It is good if it finds its way to the cage. So, as you said, Bill Thomas, what the keeper learned in that game a few weeks ago, play to the horn.
Don't stop playing.
Correct.
Stop everything, even after the horn.
Experiential learning.
Because we did see
don't
the
let it
keeper
go in a
kind of
cage.
give up on that.
Yep.
Because the horn had sounded. We all learned something, I think, that day, including the keeper.
Indeed they did. And
We
so
certainly did.
the officials with the ball on the restart. It's going to be Taylor down here in the corner. And the final 3:44, we are away here in the fourth quarter. Taylor's going to race this one all the way back to X. Armand provides a little screen. And then Taylor keeps racing over to that far left corner of the field. 3.5 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. Leominster right along that restraining line. Now they take it back outside the zone.
Now, how much time do you have to work it back inside the zone?
I
Todd?
knew you were going to ask me that, Bill Thomas. The college rule has changed so much.
I mean, we've been kind of harping on it. I didn't know if
correct.
there was somebody who was doing the
Well, I
10
was saying
second.
you'll see that basketball counts come out, the
Yeah.
exact amount of time. Coach Colin Davis will tell me all about it, I'm sure, coming up here as I continue to learn my way back through this game. College rules now, they have an 80-second shot clock, and it's
I love
published
that.
just like a play clock. You can see it. It's easy to understand. There's no questions. You
that.
get 80 seconds to shoot,
Coach Davis will send you chapter 6.
Yes,
which
you will.
I do appreciate.
Absolutely.
And he'll give you a reading comprehension quiz the very next time it's
As long as it's not MCAST related, I'll take it. 2:40 to play here in the fourth.
Lunenburg gets the turnover here.
Indeed they do. And now they'll take the ball downfield. Leominster defensively trying to race back into the play. They'll take it downfield. Looked through the cross of Arsenault. He tries to race to the end line. It's a giveaway. And the ball will go back to Leominster. Tough situation there for the Blue Knights. A little bit of an unforced error on the connection. But
little
we've
too
said
quick.
nothing's been clean.
Trying to make that extra pass when maybe should have been more in attack mode right there.
2:25 to play here in the fourth. Julian gets the connection from Smith.
Be careful around your goal here.
Yeah, I was going to say Smith maybe a little loose. Retreat for the circle. This one goes upfield. Looks for the connection for Tossi. Nice job on the long stick there. It was Keohan.
waiting for friends.
Indeed. And that's Jones, the senior leader.
He's got quite the fire.
Indeed he does. Catch and replace. They find some room. To the cage! Top shelf! Score!
Fast break right off the wing.
Colin Dudek.
No defense in sight right there. Clean look.
1:52 to play here in the fourth. We're level at 6 apiece here at McCarron Turf Field.
What'd you say the score was the first time they met?
6-5
Should
was
we
the
expect
final of that one.
anything different?
Indeed.
Right down to the final horn.
Dudek, it felt like, had just joined the fray, and they found him on a connecting pass, and he took it right to Smith, and Smith was helpless but to watch it go top shelf.
Now, I didn't see if there was an interaction there. Did he run on as a runoff sub? We saw that kind of fast break that Leominster used. I didn't see the sideline action. All I saw him was streaking in the middle.
I was going to say, same
However
thing.
he got there, he had a nice finish.
Back to the X we go. Calais will win control with the short stick. And now Calais on his horse. Lost it, picks it right back up, and begins his approach as he cradles down the right side. As I said, thought Leominster needed at least one more goal. Now they need definitively one more goal. 2 might be put away for one side or another. This is Armand. Takes it to net. Shot! And Armand scores! Puts it right by Cayozo.
You know, we've seen him try to work that move earlier. Just didn't have enough shoulder in the third quarter, but definitely got that move, that curl move. Used what strength he has, but got in great position right there.
Lunenburg calls with the goal. Leominster the response. 1:29 to play here in the fourth, and the Blue Devils are back on top at 7-6. And a timeout spent on the field.
Quick answer by Leominster right there, and we've seen them do that time and time again. Be able to. It seems like they turn up the aggressive meter after they've been scored on numerous occasions.
What a flurry of action and a treat of a lacrosse game we have had here on a Saturday afternoon here at McCarron Turf Field. The crowd on hand, you're starting to see as we talk about that return to the new normal. Folks joining us here, nice crowd of parents on hand. Absolutely, Bill Thomas. Let's take a look down the sideline here as we can see up here. A whole nice crowd joining us here up above field level. You're actually kind of a little better off here at McCarron, not sitting in the stands. You get a wider view of things. And
yeah, they have a small stand section, let's say.
Yes.
Could use some expansion, but we love being up on the hill, being outside. We were offered the press box. We're like, no, we want to be in the open air. We enjoy being with our people.
Absolutely, getting an opportunity to interact. We love the second screen experience as well. For those of you joining us, facebook.com/Media Rivalry. You can drop your comments, cheer on your favorite Blue Knight or Blue Devil down in the comments section of this one. We love that second screen experience. One of the benefits of broadcasting on Facebook Live on a Saturday here on RFM. Todd Robbins, Bill Thomas, Kate Robbins, and you on this gorgeous Saturday. Hope you have found a nice spot, Bill Thomas, maybe a little bit of shade, and are enjoying some lacrosse on your smart-enabled device. We talk about like, follow, and subscribe. All 3 of those things, if you have notifications turned on, will generate a prompt to you anytime we go live here on RFM. This will be our last regular season lacrosse game. Tried to pick up that St. Bernard's Leominster game coming up on Tuesday on the road at Bernardian Bowl. Some scheduling difficulties there caused a little bit of issue. We had to take that one down off the board as that one was a senior night, and the ADs were working with us to get that moved to 5:30, and then there was some issues with senior night festivities, and so we had to reverse. So this will be our last regular season lacrosse game, but we are keeping our eye both on the girls and boys lacrosse action here, and of course a lot of that will be hosted at Doyle Field in Leominster. So we are going to be on the lacrosse beat during the postseason, as we will on the baseball beat. A couple of regular season baseball games still to come. We'll tell you about that more before we leave your stream today. This one rolled forward down the right side. Blue Knights with the ball and control. This is Shea Arsenal with the loose cradle and control. They'll go back to X, find the control for Jones. Jones is challenged by the long stick and Julian. Sets up to the far side there. This is Dudek. Dudek, the goal scorer moments ago. Under a minute to play here in the fourth quarter. Gagnor getting bothered by the long stick. He may have taken a cross to the head. No call here in the final 45 seconds of the fourth. Officials are not going to give up a man advantage easily here. Arsenal with the loose cradle. Julian tried to step in the passing lane once again today. Whacks that one to remain loose. And coming out to the edge of his circle and making the play is Smith. Smith will scoop it up. He's closely guarded. You can see the count. He will snap it out to Julian. Final 23 seconds. Loose ball in front of the cage. IAC scoops it. Gets the provision of a screen from Dallaire. Races down the left side trying to clear the zone. Has to center to try to get out of this end of the field. And it's picked off there by Arsenal. Back the other way. Knocked down by Kittredge. Final 5 seconds of this one. Kittredge will throw it downfield to Cayozo. There's a whistle behind the play. And no immediate signal. 4 seconds showing on the game clock.
Somebody took a timeout. Somebody's got a timeout.
So you need possession to call timeout?
That's what it sounds like. So the one
be a
official
blue
on the
double
bench
timeout,
side
huh?
of the field comes across and says, Leominster got the timeout called before the change of possession. 4 seconds left here in this fourth quarter. Final 4 seconds of the ball game.
Strategy call right there, you think maybe? When they put the ball in play, you don't necessarily have to do anything with it. Could kill the final, or they put some time on the clock. We're looking at 12 seconds now.
Now 12 seconds left here in
A
the
little more
fourth
to work
quarter.
with.
Coach Davis having a conversation with the officials, I'm assuming, about when exactly the timeout was booked.
I'm sure he's not happy about the 12 when it had 4.
4 was
when we
definitely a
heard
better
the whistle.
circumstance.
Yeah. Oh,
7-6.
depends what side of the field of the 50 you're standing on.
It was a 1-goal game with a combined 11 goals from these two teams the last time they met. Now they've taken 2 seconds down off the board, dropped it to 10.
They've been negotiating.
I was going to say, do I hear 8 as the auction has begun on the game clock. 7-6 Leominster's lead, a combined 13 goals between these two teams, and a fantastic, low-scoring, as promised, lacrosse game today.
Exciting as promised also.
Yes, indeed.
Action-packed. Just 'cause you don't got to score goals to make it an action-packed game.
It's had its dose of physicality. It's had its back-to-back moments where we've gone back and forth and back and forth. And now the final 10 seconds of the fourth quarter. Leominster will come out of the timeout with possession. And they will have to run the final 10 ticks off the board. Kate will return to your point from moments ago. This is the delineated difference. Because the men's game or the boys' game is more physical than the girls' game. You've got long sticks that can reach that ball. They're going to press the issue. They're going to whack at people going down the field. Far, far different than if you had 10 seconds left in a girls' lacrosse game.
Oh, you're absolutely right.
Restart's going to come over here.
And it's
Football
on
40.
this end of midfield, so if Lunenburg can create a turnover, potential short field to get, but only 10
They got to
seconds.
attack Taylor and start swinging away right here. You can't let him run
He's
free.
got somebody behind him creeping.
He's just got to run
Creeping.
forward. Yeah.
Creeping.
Until the official tells him to stop.
Creeping. Smart.
Are
Do
you
they have to
noticing?
give him 5 yards? Is there a
The officials
Courtesy
can.
space?
I was gonna say, the officials can place the players. You don't see it near as much in the boys' game as you do the girls. The whistle for the restart. That 10 seconds hasn't started yet. That 10 seconds still hasn't started yet. That 10 seconds still hasn't started yet.
Here we go.
And now it has begun.
Wow.
Probably a solid 4 or 5 seconds should have come off the board. Taylor throws it back to the middle of the field. And now the officials blow it dead with 2 seconds on the clock. Leominster a winner today. 7-6 the final score here at McCarron Turf Field. The Blue Devils started off the game with a 1-0 lead. We're down 4-1 at halftime and battle back on the back of a huge third quarter scoring to win 7-6.
Yeah, you know, whatever they talked about at halftime, they definitely told Taylor and Babbo to get involved, and that led the way in the second half, especially in the third quarter. The offense took over and never looked back.
Blue Devils improved their overall record to 6-3. Blue Knights will fall to 3-4. For Leominster, the win snaps a 3-game road losing streak. And for the Blue Knights, it will be their second loss in a row.
Nice acknowledgement here between the two teams.
Yeah, as the two schools love the stick salute to conclude the games here under
and
COVID
now they're going to
protocols.
walk across each
I was
other.
going to say,
I love this.
and now they will see each other.
They should. They should.
And of course, as we said,
We didn't
these
mean
two
to
programs
do it like
know
this.
each other very, very well. Played youth lacrosse together. It's a growing and burgeoning sport. A lot of these players have been on the front lines of helping to grow and develop this sport in their communities. And of course, we're glad to do our part, Bill Thomas, to try to promote this sport. I will continue to say it. I believe this is the best kept secret going in North Central Mass is lacrosse.
I tell you, it's one of the fastest sports on turf. You know, we've seen soccer, we've covered field hockey, but lacrosse by far my favorite stick and ball sport, if you want to call it that. that we've covered by far in the last 3 seasons we've been doing this.
Kate, as you look at what the two schools have learned about themselves in this action today, Leominster certainly learned about perseverance and being able to stay in this game and work through difficulties. I mean, they had, for Lacrosse, an extended cold streak in that second into the early part of the third quarter. Just about the beginning of the third, they were able to get back on the board.
Yeah, I mean, their lone goal of the first half came with 11 minutes and 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter. It came in the first 45 seconds of the game. They don't score again until the opening 13 seconds of the second half. And then from that point on, I'm not going to say that the floodgates opened, because they certainly didn't, because the keeper play of Cayoso was just so stellar. But Leominster starting to be able to get onto a little bit of a roll in the second half. That third quarter was tremendously important to Leominster. They had 4 goals in the third quarter alone. On the flip side, Lunenburg's first half was absolutely stellar. Their defensive play was like nothing that I've ever seen at the high school level. Not that I've seen that much, but it's not like anything that we saw in any of the previous matches. Their second half was kind of just a totally different animal. They let Leominster creep back in, and by letting them creep back in, it was like a slowed, like a trickle out of a faucet. It was just like drip, 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 and then all of a sudden, you're back to even. And then Leominster able to come out with it in the fourth quarter. They have 2 goals, both teams 2 goals in the fourth quarter, but Leominster just able to sneak over the top and edge out the Blue Knights of Lunenburg. But what a treat the entire game was for everybody involved.
Nathan Taylor, 2 goals in this action. Michael Halstead, 2 goals in the action today, the only ones with double-digit scoring. You add on the back of that a goal that came from, hang on, trying to find the numbers here. Sam Babo's got a goal there. Jake Tossi's got a goal. And then, of course, the one that ultimately iced it was Gio Armand, who has really been responsible for distributing the ball a lot more, Bill Thomas, than it has been necessarily scoring it. I feel like, I can't prove it, I would have to review the game, I feel like that was his first shot on goal, and he found the back of the cage with some room.
Gio's not the biggest kid out there on the field, and we see him try to work that curl, but he gets muscled out of position a lot of times, but he doesn't give up. But he's not always looking to shoot off that curl. He's looking to pass and dish. He's a playmaker, and he uses his speed nicely, but he got a cut to the middle, and he had a nice look, and he scored. But, I think you can't take away what Taylor brought to the opening minutes of that third quarter. He scored twice within the first 3 minutes of that quarter, and then, I think it gave the team such a boost right there, and then, they ended up taking the lead before the end of the quarter, and it was game on.
Indeed, as Senior Day festivities are going to ensue here at McCarron Turf Field. And Bill Thomas, because we basically have missed every Senior Day thus far, we're going to cover this Senior Day. Yeah, absolutely. Why
absolutely.
not? I know Athletic Director James Bonnell is working his way up here. He's going to host this Senior Day for the Blue Knights seniors. And you know what? When we have the opportunity to be there and cover the action, I think it's important that we cover Senior Day. It's a great opportunity to acknowledge the dedication for a program that seniors put in. 4 years of work is an awful long time.
Well, I got a pretty tight schedule, but I think I can carve an extra 15 minutes out for the kids.
No question about that. Let's talk about Blue Knights scorers whilst we wait for this to ensue. Ryan Jones has got a goal on the day. You add Josh Agnese with a goal on the day. Going down further, Brady Burns got himself a score. Aiden Moore, a score. And then lastly, according to our tabulation, Colin Dudek had the goal that drew the Blue Knights even in that fourth quarter of action, but ultimately not able to surmount a Leominster comeback, the game winner owned by Gio Armand for this one. And now an opportunity for Coach Mike Frattarelli and the Blue Knights to acknowledge the seniors in their program as they continue to steer folks around on the field. Gives us also an opportunity to mention upcoming action here on Rivalry Family Media. We're looking forward to some more baseball regular season action. We've got a special for you next Saturday. So 1 week from today, Bill Thomas, we go on the old hilltop out in Shrewsbury for the Battle of the Town of Shrewsbury as the Colonials play host to St. John's of Shrewsbury in what should be some exciting baseball action.
And I'm looking forward to that game. We saw Shrewsbury was laying in a new field when we were up there covering some of the football action. But, whenever we get to cover 2 of the top, typically D1 teams in Central Mass, I'm always looking forward to that.
And so that will be our baseball action next Saturday here on RFM. A 1 o'clock first pitch will be on the air about 10 till here on Facebook.com/Media Rivalry. Shortly thereafter, a few days later, middle of that following week, the first week of June, Tuesday, June the 2nd, Bill Thomas, got a little teaser information on this one. We've got Leominster and St. Paul's in that game at Doyle Field, 7 o'clock first pitch on that one to wrap up the regular season spring here on RFM. And with that one, of course, there's the possibility, as was pointed out by Coach Richie Barnaby, that, of course, we may see Evan McCarthy from Leominster throw in that one if the rotation sets itself up that way.
Tremendous game he pitched the other night.
Indeed he did, against what could be arguably the other best pitcher in that league that is on St. Paul's as well. So we've got a battle of the top two pitchers potentially in Central Massachusetts in this season. Coming up in that last one, June the 2nd, tentatively, of course, the rotation has to line up and the pitch counts have to match in order for those things to transpire, but we certainly hope to. We'll have the game for you. We certainly hope to see an exciting matchup in that one as well. Coach Colin Davis is staying down on the field, talking to Coach Mike Frattarelli as they exchange hugs and congratulations as the teacher and student, and now and then co-coaches come together, and now they are, of course, head coaches of two very separate programs, but huge respect I know that exists between Coach Colin Davis and Coach Mike Frattarelli, and that's one of the great parts, Bill Thomas, of the years and years and years you stay around in high school sports or high schools in general. You do your level best for the 4 years you have an athlete or you have a student to prepare them for their future, and then if you get the opportunity to see them come back and build on that future and step out into a program of their own, I know there's a special place in Coach Colin Davis's heart to see a former player, then a coach that he had the opportunity to coach with on his staff, then arise to lead a program of his own.
Oh, absolutely. It's got to be very satisfying, to be a mentor and then be a co-coach and it's a small fraternity coaching and when you can help somebody get to that level, it's always rewarding.
Indeed it is. The festivities still setting up here at McCarron Turf Field, but you're joining us here on Rivalry Family Media at the conclusion of what has been an exciting afternoon. Great opportunity for you to go back and check this one out. As soon as we wrap up, broadcast available immediately in archive here on Facebook. Facebook.com/Media Rivalry for the premiere action of this one. Replay available as soon as we conclude. And then same day delay coming up later on tonight out there on YouTube. It's tinyurl.com/Media Rivalry or youtube.com. Search Rivalry Family Media in all cases. Like, follow, and subscribe today to have that action sent directly to your smart-enabled device when the action either goes live, is posted, available on demand. All of that comes directly to you here on Rivalry Family Media. It's been great to have you along with us here. And Coach Mike Frattarelli, I think, is signaling up to Athletic Director James Bonnell that they're ready and will join Athletic Director James Bonnell of Lunenburg High School.
Lunenburg High School Blue Knights Senior Lacrosse Senior and Parent Appreciation Ceremony. If you could please direct your attention to the field where we will honor our high school seniors and the ceremony will begin. First up, senior captain, number 10, Brody Tapley. Brody will be attending Westfield State University, majoring in criminal justice. He is joined by his parents, Bill and Bevan Tapley, and siblings, Jonathan and Meredith. Congratulations, Brody. Next up, senior captains, number 12, Shea Arsenal, and number 88, Hunter Arsenal. Hunter and Shea will both be attending High Point University in North Carolina. Hunter will be majoring in exercise science. Shea is undecided at the moment, but is interested in economics. They join their parents, Don and Steve. Congratulations, Hunter and Shea. Next up, we have senior number 13, Ethan LeBlanc. Ethan will be attending Mount Wachusett Community College to study fire science. He is joined on the field by his parents, Michelle and Renee, and sister, Julia. Congratulations, Ethan. Next, we have senior number 14, Brendan Ware. Captain Brendan Ware. Brendan will be attending UMass Amherst, majoring in civil engineering. He is joined on the field by his parents, Michael and Nancy Ware, and sister Caitlin. Congratulations, Brendan. Next, we have senior captain number 24, Sean Keown. Sean will be attending UMass Amherst, majoring in mechanical engineering. He is joined on the field by his parents, Dan and Lori, and sister Hannah, and brother Matt. Congratulations, Sean. Next up, we have senior number 37, Ryan Burns. Ryan has been accepted into the Eisenberg School of Management at UMass Amherst, where he'll be attending in the fall, majoring in accounting. He is joined on the field by his parents, Kristen and Pete, brothers Brady, Jake, and sister Hope. Congratulations, Ryan. Next up, we have senior captain number 47, Ryan Jones. Ryan will be attending Roger Williams University, majoring in business, and continuing his lacrosse career with the Hawks. He is joined in the field by his parents, Eric and Kathy, and sister Emma. Congratulations, Ryan. Last but certainly not least, senior captain number 54, Dylan Granberg. Dylan will be attending Fitchburg State University in the fall, majoring in accounting. He is joined on the field by his parents, Kathy and Mark. Congratulations, Dylan. On behalf of the Blue Knights lacrosse community, we would like to send a huge thank you to Coach Fratt, Coach Moore, and Coach Weigold for their commitment to these players and this team. Unusual circumstances and a shortened season, but thus far it's been a very successful season. Thank you to all the parents for their support. Lunenburg High School wishes their seniors all the best. We will truly miss them all. Now, please give a warm round of applause to all the seniors and their families.
And with that, we hate to run, but the rain is starting to begin here at McCarron Turf Field. And let me tell you, electronic devices don't love rain. So with that said, we say thank you so very much for being with us today, where once again the final score was Leominster 7 and Lunenburg 6. We'll talk to you again next week or in the postseason here on RFM with more lacrosse action. Until that time, for Bill Thomas and Kate Robbins, I am Todd Robbins, saying thank you so very much for joining us, and until next time, so long, everybody.